product, market, marketing, brotherhood. 4 multipliers. And when you understand how multipliers work, your entire dating life becomes obvious. But this isn't additive. This isn't do 10% better in a few areas and hope it works out. This is multiplicative. Each variable compounds the others. If you improve one area while another is severely weak, the weak one becomes a bottleneck. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 equals 16. But if one of those numbers drops to half, your 16 becomes 8. If one of them collapses completely, the entire system can collapse with it. That's why you can be in great shape and still struggle. That's why you can live in a big city and still feel invisible. That's why you can run ads, but without any social proof, nothing converts. And that's why guys who align on all 4 variables feel like they're cruising downhill while everyone else is grinding uphill. This is why. And I want to credit one of my clients from the IC community for helping crystallize this in a really amazing way. Let's call him Ken. Ken took a bunch of concepts I've been teaching for years, including shtick, social circle, and how to use Instagram properly, and he packaged it into something he called the 3X leverage playbook. So I'm going to tell his story in a way that makes this lesson land. And then I'm going to add a 4th multiplier that I believe is the real cheat code. Brotherhood, another way of saying wingmen. Doing this as a coordinated crew instead of as a lonely solo grinder. So this episode is a blend. It's Ken's framework and story, my principles and my system, and the bigger idea that ties it all together. So if you're struggling with dating, I'm going to attempt to prove to you that it's not really a willpower problem. It's an infrastructure problem. And leverage fixes infrastructure. So let's start with a situation most men are in. The modern trap. Here's what most men do. They wake up, they work, they go to the gym, maybe they scroll the apps at night, maybe they do a bit of socializing on the weekends, and then they slowly start to believe one of 2 stories. Story number 1, women are the problem. Dating is broken. I'm wasting my time trying, or I'm just going to settle for a woman below my ideal standards. Story 2, I'm the problem. I need more game, more confidence, more money, more looks, more whatever. But both stories are incomplete because both stories ignore leverage. Ken's story is a perfect example of what I mean. Ken was a late 20s guy living in San Francisco. He was swiping endlessly, getting very few matches, lots of ghosting, texting that fizzled, a mediocre date once in a while, not meeting the caliber of women he was going for. Then he discovered day game, approaching women during the day. He put in a ton of reps and he got better results than the apps, but he also realized something brutal. Day game's high effort. It can work, but it's not really that efficient. Your results are tied directly to your time and your energy, and then life happens. Career focus, less reps. He returned to it later and he realized San Francisco is slower post-COVID. So even though he's in good shape and he has his life together and he has decent social skills, he's still banging his head against the wall. And here's the key line from Ken. He had a decent product, but he had a market and a marketing problem. He was in a terrible ratio. He was undifferentiated, and he relied on trash marketing strategy. Apps, or a strategy that can work but is inefficient, day game. That's the entire lesson. Most men obsess over product while ignoring market and marketing. And then they wonder why their life feels like an uphill battle. So fast forward, Ken moved to Cali, Colombia. And suddenly his dating life looks something like he would not have believed in his 20s. Beautiful women in their early to mid 20s. He's got abundance. He's got a social life. He's got momentum. And he's the first to tell you it was not because he became some new superhuman. It was because he stopped trying to fix dating with effort and started fixing it with leverage. So let's define the core framework in plain English. The formula: product times market times marketing equals abundance. Then I add times brotherhood. Product is you, your attractiveness, your vibe, your lifestyle, your competence, your standards, your ability to lead. And market is where you're playing, your city, your neighborhood, your venues, your demographic, the ratio, the culture. Marketing is how you're visible, how women discover you, how they feel safe and intrigued, how they get enough context to say yes to you. And brotherhood is a network effect. Wingman, coordination, shared events, shared lead flow, shared social proof, shared momentum. So now let's go through each multiplier and actually make it practical.